All right, when we finished last time, we ended up in this position right here, and we need to go ahead and fix this stuff up. So let's go into our HTML and CSS. One of the things we need to do is we need to make those articles with a background color of white. So let's go ahead and do that. So we're done with the nav, and we have section, article, and what we want to do is make that background color white. So let's do background color, and we'll make it white. And again, since we already have it right here, I'm just going to go Control C, Control V, no sense in retyping everything. And then we'll do File, Save All, and then refresh. Boom. Okay, so that's fine. All right, now that's what we need to do is make it smaller boxes. So let's go ahead and do that. Let's also, for the section article, let's make the width around 300 pixels. All right, that's a nice size box. And then we'll do File, Save All, and refresh. And there you go. So now that they're 300 pixels, you can see that there's a couple of issues in there. Centering is one. The other problem is they're still stacked one on top of the other. And if I come over here and go down to section and open it up and then move down, if I click on article, you can see why they're stacked. See that brown line that goes across? That's a block level element. It takes up the entire container. So I need to change it so it's no longer a block level element. So let's go ahead and do that. I like to do that at the very top, put the display property at top if I'm changing the default value. Doesn't make a difference to the computer. Display, inline, whoops, block. All right, and you can see that we did the same thing with here. We could have used floats to float these and then to float these others. The problem with floats is you have that border collapse. You remove them from the DOM, and that makes them very hard and very unpredictable. So we use floats for specific instances, but if we can get away with using inline block instead, then we use that. Now, one thing I could have done is if I want to change the order in which they're displayed on the page, I can use floats by using float left, float right to invert how they're displayed on the page. I can't do that with inline blocks, so that's an advantage of floats. I'm using both. I want to teach you both and use both different times because they're always all used. So let's go ahead now and see what happens. We'll do File and Save All and go back and refresh. Nice. All right, so that is all looking good. The problem is that they are all different sizes. So let's go ahead and see what this funny bunny size is. All right, so we have section, and there's our articles. So this last article is 244, and the rest of these is 226. So let's go ahead and make them let's go ahead and make them a height of 250. And let's see how that works out. So each of their article has a width of 300 and it has a height of 250 pixels. And we'll do File, Save All, and refresh. Uh-oh, and look what happens. Well, now they're all the same height, and this one over here is not where it needs to be. And that's because they're lining up on this last line. So that's why that is pushed up. and we need to be able to push it back down. So we need to do that with CSS. All right, so you can see I fixed it. That was broken again. Um, if we go to W3 schools, there's a property called vertical align. The default value is baseline, and that's why everything is going to this baseline bottom. Everything is all lined up with this last one. We don't want it. We want it lined up at the top, not with the bottom. I'm not sure why they did baseline. I'm sure there's a reason for the vertical alignment to be baseline, but you can see that we have a bunch of different properties that we can use, and this is what we want right here. So we can have top elements is aligned with the top of the tallest element of the line, or text top, the element is aligned to the top of the parent element's font. And let's go ahead and try both and see if they make a difference. I think if we use, in this case, we use top or text top, it should be the same, but let's go and see. Okay, so here in my article, section article, I'll do vertical align, and then we'll do top, and we'll do file, save all, and refresh, and that works. I think if we do text top, we'll find that it looks the same. We'll do file, save all, and refresh. Yeah, it looks all the same. All right, so we have some issues here. One of the issues is I think these boxes need to be bigger, because see how they're all mushed on the right-hand side here? Well, I want them left aligned anyway, and that should end the mush. So let's go here. And what I want to do is up here in my nav, no, I didn't. I have text align center in my body, so it's centering all that text. And for my LI, I wanted to left align, but not in my nav. I only wanted to do it in my section. So now we're going to be specific. So I have section article here. So my next property I'm going to change is section article LI. And I could do, actually, I could do ULLI. I don't need to be that specific. So they say you shouldn't have more than 4 going across here. So if you're doing it more than 4, you're way too specific. I could have just said article ULLI, because the only articles I have is in section anyway. But I like to be as specific as I can, because I don't know if I'm going to add something later on that's going to break my website by lacking the specificity that I need. So let's go ahead and do that. And what I want to do is text align left. And let's see if that fixes everything. File, save all, and then refresh. All right. Well, that looks pretty good. I'm happy with that. You can see that some of the things look a little bit off. You can see that these are to the left of the end, but that because this one is longer, I can fix that by making the boxes bigger. And you can see I have some problems over here too. I may want to make the boxes a little bit bigger anyway, because of the fact that this is squished on this side over here. So let's go ahead and let's go into here and see how it will look if we change it. So I come down to this article here. You can see that the height is 250 and the width is 300. If I click on it, you can see it turns it dark. And if I use my arrow keys and use the up key, I can make it bigger and see what looks best. You can see that they're all getting bigger. And I think that looks pretty good right there. Maybe a little bit smaller. What do you think? I want to get it as small as I can and have it still look good. And I think that looks good there. Um, let's take a look at the paragraphs. So you can see that we have a lot of space on the left-hand side here. And the reason why we have that space and makes things look a little disjointed is that, remember, the UL has extra margin in it. So we took a look over here and we saw that with the nav. So the nav UL, let's see. We never did took out that space. Because what we did, interesting. All right, so if we take a look at the UL, let's go back into here. You can see that we have in the UL margin start 1 EM and then inline start 40 pixels. And you can see where that is right here. See how I'm mousing? You can see where it's top and that, and then down here. So let's go ahead and get rid of that margin. And we have the same problem. Look at, well, you can't even see it. Let's see if I move this over. And let me move this in. Pain in the neck. All right, come on. If I move this in and move this over. Now when I mouse over this pad inline, this margin, so you can see there, that margin there, and you can see the margin. If you look at the end of our nav line, we have that block there too that we want to get rid of that will mess things up. So we want to get rid of the margin on our UL. So let's go into here. Now I could get rid of it here and then get rid of it down here, but let's just get rid of it in both places. In fact, down here, oh, you notice I don't have, I don't tell you to, I wonder why that is. Nav ULLI, text decoration, or how are buttons left? Interesting. Oh, because then you do inline block, it gets rid of the block, it gets rid of the buttons. All right, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to get rid of this nav UL and just make it UL. Now list style none is on both of those. And actually I didn't need to do that. Let me go ahead and I'm going to copy this or cut it, Control X, and move this now up to my global. Oh, and I have it up here already. And paste it in, and now you can see it looks there. And then what I want to do is margin 0. Now notice I don't do 0 pixels. We just do 0. Whenever it's 0, it's 0 whatever. You can see we did that down here also. We don't put 0 whatever it is. We just put 0. File, save all, and then refresh. Boom. Okay. Well, why is it there? UL. Did I save it? Maybe I didn't save it. It seems to be still there. So file, save all, and then refresh. And now it's still there. Why is it still there? I've made a mistake somewhere. And I'm running out of time. All right, dadgummit. Somehow it's not picking that up. List style, margin, and that's the UL, and this is the right thing.